Hi friends! If you click to check out a comparison video between the NATASHA DENONA gold palette and bronze palette alongside with some demos, then please keep on watching. Hi, my name's Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. You could probably already tell I got some makeup on. I got the gold palette on this side and the bronze palette on this side. And although I will take this off and do another demo for you, I just wanted to bring you in a little closer. This side you have gold and this side you have the bronze palette. Now I don't know if you can tell. Well, first of all, let me show you what colors I used first. On the gold side I use Teak, Log, Alchemist, Oro, and this sparkly shade here. This is her topper shade in the gold palette, Kava. And is that it? Yes, I think so. That's what I used on this side. And then on the bronze side, I used Beach, Deep Dive. I think I went in with True Bronze on the majority of the lid. I did Alloy on the inner third to match up with Oro from the gold side. And I think it was Palladium that I used on this inner corner. I think you can tell that gold mattes are generally more neutral, more cooler in tone. This side is just more taupey, the matte a lot more neutral beige, and the beach shade has a little more peachiness to it, a little more warmth. And even the Deep Dive, you could detect a little bit of the eggplant undertone that exists in that shade, whereas Log is like a bark brown shade. And the metallics, Alchemist has like a taupey bronze tone, and True Bronze has a peachier undertone to it. Oro, that true yellow gold shade, is just more yellow in tone. Alloy is just more copper in tone. Kava has like that dazzly effect and it's more like a veil overlay of color versus like an actual metallic shade. That definitely adds a little more coolness to the look. And Palladium is like that pinky taupe in the bronze palette. So I wanted to just start the video here so you can see both eye looks on from the get, and maybe you can detect the overall tonal differences between the two. I definitely do. I find that if I were to wear both eyes the same, I would rather have a more contour cheek product versus like a bronze product, because I much prefer bronze products to be matched up with any of the shadows found in the bronze eyeshadow palette. But with gold, I definitely have to just skip bronzer altogether, maybe do a cooler, more neutral tone contour and just use blush, because bronze with gold is very hard for me to pull off. I feel there's too much contrast on my face, but I just wanted to pan you out. Take this off. Let's start from scratch, because in the gold palette you do have this mustard shade that I feel is very different from Ridge. Dijon. We got Dijon from the gold palette, and then we got these teal colors and the duochromes. So although people might have thought about the gold palette when they saw the bronze palette, these are vastly different palettes. The color stories, the undertones are they're just different. And you can see them side by side here. And although we'll still do the demos, because I just love these types of videos, I just feel these color stories are vastly different. The bronze palette just has more copper, peach, red. There's not a lot of that in here. Even with Oro, Oro's like a true yellow. Yeah, whereas Alloy, the shade I put here on the same spot on this side, is just more copper. You know what I'm saying? So let me take this off. I'm going to leave my concealer off until I have both looks completed, and then I'll reapply it then. Today we'll go in with the Kaleidos Tone Activator Eye Primer. I changed between this one and the Hourglass. I enjoy both thoroughly. I do think that the Kaleidos definitely has a lot more pigment to it, so if you wanted to completely block out your eyes, then I would recommend that you use the Kaleidos over the Hourglass. And because the Kaleidos has a lot more color to it than the Hourglass, I usually just like to pat down any leftover onto the lid. The brows still look okay. I'm shocked. Now, just by swatching alone, this is Dijon, which has more of a greenish undertone to it than I think Ridge does. Ridge is a lot more of like a yellow marigold mustard tone. So here's Dijon and here is Ridge. I mean, vastly different. And also something that I've encountered with the gold palette, because of my skin tone, when I combine a lot of these beiges, they don't look distinctly different on my lid, and that's my only gripe with the gold palette. Aria is more of like a true neutral beige, and then we have Sandstone, which I think has a little more depth to it, yeah? But when I combine these, they look the same on me, which is why I limit myself. I don't go in with more than 3 mattes, right? If I want this to show as is, I'll go in with this, and then a metallic, or I'll pair it with Log, for some smoke, with another, or I'll just go in with the cream to matte, which is Python. Beautiful shade. Yeah, this is so gorgeous. So I would pair that with maybe another of the neutral beige shades. I'm keeping you wide just so you can see the colors in action in real time, because I feel close up when you can't see both eyes at the same time. Probably hard to distinguish any differences, if there are any. I think there'll be plenty, to be quite honest. Tap, tap, tap with Dijon. With my Isam G35, I'm gonna whisk that around. I think also to get like the most Dijon has to offer is to apply it all on its own and not on another matte in the gold palette. Like, you just gotta keep it exclusively Dijon. I went in another time just to kick up the saturation, and now let me switch. I got 2 G35s. The other one, Ridge, tap, tap, tap. Let's do it. Now on this side, tapped in again to get more color. Going in again because I really want to kick up the color richness so you could see both of the shades together. Oh yeah, for sure. You could see that there's more of like a green mustard feel from Dijon, and this is just more like a, dare I say, like a copper mustard. Even though they call it mustard tone in the palette, I definitely consider this to be more mustard for me, but probably if you pair this with something warmer, you could see more of like that yellow mustard tone. Now we could go in with another matte, or we could go in just with a different metallic shade. I'm gonna keep it very simple and go in with Orium here as my main stage shade. And then with the metallic bronze, Varus. You could use Varus as your deepener. That's what I'll do actually. Let me get a flat shader. Chikuhodo T7 with the, I just saw the name, my goodness me, Varus. Packing that on the outer V. Beautiful shine, but adds just the right amount of smoke if you don't want to use Log, that dark brown matte. Same brush with Orium, that yellowish bronze metallic right under Varus. I'm gonna take my finger, there we go, and just tap it onto that part of my lid. Drape it over Varus to create that nice gradient effect. Varus, now same brush on the outer lower third. And just to change it up, why don't we go in with Sparks? With my Isam S31 on the inner part of the eye. I think this is such a beautiful color. It has a dazzled veil effect that you could probably, yes, as we are using it exclusively, but you could probably pat this over Orium too for that extra glittery effect. It's about to rain, so the clouds cast a very strange light on me, unfortunately. What shall we do on this side? Well, I actually want to use High Degree as like my smoke shade, because Deep Dive will be vastly deeper than Varus, but we don't have like a bronzy, like a brown bronze in the bronze palette, which is funny. I think Natasha wanted to go the route more warm red when it comes to bronze, because bronze could be several things on the spectrum of shades, I guess. I'm only assuming. High Degree, I wiped off my Chikuhodo T7 brush, and now tapping that on the outer part of the eye. Oh, that's pretty. I'm trying to do different combinations from my 4-look video, also from my showdown video using Artist Couture's Supreme Nudes. Oh, that's pretty. What shall we put on the inner part of the lid? You know what? Let me go in with Silk. Should I do Silk? I feel like that will be the one. Kind of remotely, well actually Alloy I think will be a closer match to Orium. Let me tap that right on the inner part of the eye and drape it over High Degree. Yeah, that's vastly more copper versus Orium is a lot more yellow in undertone. And I'm sure pairing it with High Degree brings out more of that coppery orangey feel. High Degree on the High Degree on the outer third lower lash line. True Copper with the Esam S31. Pulling that on the inner part. Oh yeah, True Copper is like fiery. Let's go in with Silk as the inner corner highlight. I know it's not like the lightest beigeiest color, champagne-y color, but I think it works out. It'll work out. That's pretty. All right, let me apply some concealer, some lashes, and I'll be right back. Here's a close-up. I have my daddy long leg lashes on. Whoops. Wispy's in 700. You can see from the bronze side, and especially since I used the red shade, it's just warmer, more fiery in nature. And the gold palette side, yellow, neutral, cool, a little green, dare I say, a little green tone from the Dijon matte shade. And here's a wide shot of both looks. On the lips, I have the Lip Euphoria Balm Hybrid in Tan Nude and just the Lip Euphoria Gloss in Nude from her Love collection. And yeah, I mean, these are very different looks, and generally, you can probably assume that this is the general feel from what you'll get from gold versus what you'll get from the bronze eyeshadow palette. But for the next round now, fam, I want to dive into the teals, because the teals and the lime duochromes do not exist in the bronze palette at all. And maybe we could stick with rhodium and the shades that definitely vice versa don't exist in gold. Get those looks up and I will turn with my final thoughts. Reapplied the tone activator from Kaleidos. Will apply concealer when I'm done. What do I want to do first? Well, I can do Teak again next to Beach, or I think I want to do Sandstone. I don't know why. I feel like Teak will probably be parallel to Suntan or even Sundown. Let me see. You know what? Let me do Aria. That doesn't exist anywhere in the bronze palette. 1, 2, 3. Dabbing in with my Esam G34. Tap 3 times in again. These beiges are so cool tone, but they're really beautiful. I definitely have to be in the mood for this type of shade, but I think it's just so lovely, especially if for a photo shoot or you're shooting video and the eyes cannot be that impactful dapped in again, and you need something just to create like that beautiful shadow that doesn't look too warm. It's such a lovely color. I could go in with Beach if you want to see that in action. I did that on my first look that I started the video with. Twice, tapped in 3 times. I'm using the same brush here. So you see there's more peachiness warm and it's more neutral on this side. And this is like the overall premise of the distinct difference between gold and bronze. Sonergy Jumbo Blender with Python. I'm gonna tap that on the outer V. You could also pair Python with Dijon because of how it's structured here. Much like how she designed her bronze palette, you have the green tone golds here, you have more yellow, you have like more cool tone over here. And the same thing how she designed her bronze palette, she dissected the palette by undertone. And pairing Python with Dijon will probably bring out more of the teal, but you know, I like to jump around and do different combinations. Taking my little rougher, I think this is a 13. It's the smallest out of the blender brushes. Pulling Python through the crease and smoothing out the transition between this and Aria. I'm going back in with Aria to blend in the edges of Python. Oh, what are we gonna do with the bronze eye? Well, we can most certainly either go in with Deep Dive or Magma. Let's just do Deep Dive. You know, Deep Dive is like the only distinct like smoke shade in the bronze palette. If you want to go more red tone, you can do Magma. With my Sonergy Worker 1, tap it, tap, tap, nudge it right here under the crease. Switch to my Esam G33 smaller brush to now smooth that throughout the crease. Incredible when you pair it with the teal, this looks more eggplant. Yeah, versus if I were to pair it with Log, you wouldn't see it as distinctly with that undertone. Aurora with my finger just over the outer edge of my lid because I want that to sparkle, because now Lime Chrome This color is just rude. It's rude. It's so, you know what? Do I want to go in with lime chrome? Yes, I do. Lime chrome is like a more chill fire opal. Fire opal's texture allows for more of that dazzle effect, whereas this is more shine. Like it has shine versus like the twinkle, but it glows. It has more like that glow. And then draping it over Aurora. My goodness me. Taking Python with my W23 just under the lash line here. Most definitely have to go in with brass in the lower inner third. This has a lot more texture than lime chrome. I had to take out my contacts because it was getting sabotaged with all the switching of the eyeshadow. Lime chrome as the main stage inner corner highlight. What are we gonna do with this eye? Oh my goodness me. Well, I could do rhodium. You know, Bliss. Bliss has green in it. So why don't we do Bliss? I don't think I ever did Bliss with Deep Dive as like my smoke. That's pretty. Ooh, that's pretty. We found another beautiful combination. Deep Dive with my Esom W23 on the lower lash line. Definitely taking rhodium, this lavender with silver duochrome here. Excuse me. I'm gonna switch brushes. I'm gonna use my Esom S31. Oh my god, this eye's so red. Don't cry. Pulling it here, draping it over Deep Dive. And then I guess we could do Palladium as our inner corner highlight. Same brush. All right, let's clean this up, slap on some lashes, and I'll be right back. All right, here's a close-up of both looks. I mean, you got teal and we got plum brown. We got the duochrome from lime chrome, and then we have the duochrome from Bliss. I probably had leftover from my lime chrome application here, and it kind of ended up on Bliss, which I'm not hating at all. Then rhodium here paired with brass. It's just two different looks altogether. I switched my lashes. I put on Ardell Demi Wispies because the Wispy 700s were a little intense. And here's a wide shot of both looks. I have the same lip gloss combo from the first round. And yeah, fam, ultimately, I think we can probably conclude that the gold palette is a different palette. It's a different palette. I know with the name Bronze Palette and you have some bronze tones in here, it's not going to be the same like what the Bronze Palette has to offer. I'm just swatching a couple of shades here that might have reminded you like, oh, you know, the gold palette has the same bronzy tones, right? I don't think they do. I think overall you're going to get looks from the actual Bronze Palette that they just have more heat to them. They got a lot more copper, they got a lot more red, a lot more terracotta. Yeah, here's silk, more of a pinky bronze. And I get it, right? Because initially when you think about these shades from the gold palette, and then you might see the Bronze Palette on a device, you see the shades, they're not the same. This is significantly warmer than the metallic shades in the gold palette. And the same thing for the mattes. The mattes are not the same either. You have a lot more terracotta, like orangey, yellow, peachy tones that exist in the Bronze Palette. And in the gold palette, you got like the neutral beige cool tone. Dijon has a little more green to it than Ridge does with the marigold undertone. Log, I feel Log is more of like a bark dark brown shade versus Deep Dive from the Bronze Palette is that eggplant brown. You know what I'm saying? It's just so different, and I feel you could detect that more from this eye. It's just a different tone brown altogether. Like this looks like I have purple on for some strange reason. When I paired it with Bliss, I think it's so pretty. And ultimately, if you have both palettes, if you recently bought the Bronze palette and you have the gold palette, listen, you could very much apply lime chrome over Bliss and it will make it pop even more, right? And Deep Dive paired with like that lime, plum purple with lime is like one of my most favorite combinations. Purple lime anything, okay? Even if it's more of a pastel neon purple paired with the lime, like a neon lime, And to put Lime Chrome together with Bliss and get that, like, you have to be kidding me. And this is a classic combination from gold, one of my most favorite go-to looks when using the gold palette. So hopefully this video kind of helped you decide if you already have gold and this is definitely more your wheelhouse and you're not into these tones, then you stick with the gold. But if you have gold and you're like, it's okay, it didn't really like make my heart flutter, but the bronze tones do, then you know you're gonna get more use out of the bronze. If you end up getting both palettes, combine them. Don't use them exclusively, right? I think Natasha also might have had that in mind when creating these palettes. She had her other palettes in mind in terms of different ways you could combine the shades and mix cool with warm, neutral with whatever neutral. Now, I am dying to do a comparison video with Metropolis. A lot of you feel that the bronze tones are very warm, like how they are in the bronze palette. So maybe that'll be our next video, or we could do sunrise, but I really want to do Metropolis and maybe sunset afterwards. And with that said, fam, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, tutorial, NATASHA DENONA palette comparison video. Get ready with me or nightly life chit chat. Take care and I will see you again soon.